Hi, everyone. Our subject tonight is a new term, is a hopeful one. It's out of the swamp, out the swamp. Now, God created the universe and set its laws and left the human being to judge within these laws of existence. The basic law of this universe is the law of changing, where there is no constant except God, the Creator. And within this law, humanity moves forward and progresses day after day. So, medicine today is not comparable to what it was 100 years ago. And technology exceeded expectations, and despite what some see as a moral decay, however, human values still rising through the varying degree from one society to another. And if we as a nation are trying to catch up with civilization by consuming its latest products at all levels, yet we still intellectually living in the past, singing glories that have passed away, and discussing who should be on top and be partisan for this or that, and to argue about the validity of Christian greetings, we have no time to acquire knowledge and no interest to deal with creation, but we're confident that God availed for us, non-Muslim, to discover and invent what is useful to us while we are asleep. We do not accept pluralism, and one like to stand still and one of us, that is, or we like to stand still and copy our forefathers in the sense that to remain in village communities. So this term has a meaning that is not geographical. It's a uniformed meaning, which is all the community is like one. So we're not interested to find or even to learn the law of creation, which is every village community is fading, which means those small communities are fading. The world now is open in a way that the whole world is like a village. And this is explained in verse 58 of Surah 17 in the Quran. It says, not a town is there, but we're going to destroy it before the day of judgment, or to torment it. That is in the book inscribed, which means those society, uniform society, will disappear, had to disappear, can't live forever. Why? Because there's no pluralism in those societies. And if the theory of conspiracy pleases us to attach all the causes of our backwardness to colonization and the West and imperialism, but as to our intellectual retardation, we have to blame ourselves because the knowledge systems that we adopt today are the ones adopted in the 8th and 9th century, which means we are standing still. We're not improving, we're not advancing. Where those Islamic framework we have laid its foundation at that time within the prevailing circumstances then, whether including the grammar of the classical Arabic language of Sibawayh and what he introduced in no less than the reverence of Al-Shafi'i. But the irony is, who came after them did not stop by while reading it to make it fit the present and the future in proportion to the development that God Almighty wanted to be normal way. So to make the language easy for learners, bearing in mind that the wise revelation is the measure of eloquence and not Sibawayh book. And if the download looked as an as anomaly itself, then this means that the field is currently open for linguists to develop what can be developed. As for the inherited jurisprudence, the wise revelation is a complete departure from it, and there is no commonality between them. Needless to say, which is to be first. Unfortunately, the collective mind confined to jurisprudence and what they say dominates communities, and we have seen clear examples of the extent to which they control the street in the name of Islam. So the oppressed peoples who could not find tranquility in life fell victims to those who tempted them of a better life after, should they follow their instructions and not the instructions of God. And what a difference. So they were taken hostages. Now God submitted the earth to the disposition of man chosen to rule on it, to live in peace, limiting his movements to the extension of man's instinct, which the Mohammedan universal message of mercy that accepts everybody under its umbrella, regardless of gender, race, or color. But the religion of jurists distorted this message and complicated the lives of its followers and made what's forbidden a sword hanging over their heads instead of being messengers of development and process. They waved and lost in error. Our intellectual crisis is so great that it requires review and search for defects, which is crystal clear, but we bury our heads in the sand, leaving the signatories for God to control the minds of our children. So, what is the solution? I say we have to apply firmly and seriously human values in our communities and then be free from the complex of guilt and admit that rituals are purely personal relationship between man and God, the Almighty, in whose hands the affairs of the hereafter. So let us put our touches in this universe that can only be done with knowledge, away from being preoccupied with nonsense that does not help. So let us break all the idols that tyranny in our mind and move forward. Only then can we get out of the swamp. Thank you.